All right, so without reading anything, what do we know of Joe? Well, we know his last name was Pilates. My last name legally is Maggio, let's just say it, right? But when we say Pilates, we mean what we're doing with our body. It's not what he called it. What did he call it, ladies that know? Contrology. It was control. It was control of the mind-body discipline through breath and movement. Sounds a lot like yoga, but a different format, right? So we know he was a man. It's his last name, okay? I'm going to read a little bit from Return to Life Through Contrology. Those of you on course will have your books, I'm assuming, and if you decide to go on course, we just get you an Amazon one. Still worth the read. I'm going to flip to page 4, Return to Life. For some of you, this is review, but I'd read it a million times over. Introduction by Joseph Pilates. Mortal perfection is achievable only through bodily perfections, and therefore the development of physique to high levels of strength and beauty under control of the mind. This is the first requisite of human achievement. Also, the maintenance of a superior standard of physical fitness is increasingly necessary to the maintenance of life and liberty in any complex civilization. It is supremely so in times of social strife. Therefore, the discovery and use of the most efficient programs of physical improvement are now vital to the very preservation of the race. Can we just stop for a second? I mean, we're in 2025. That was not written then. Think about COVID. Think about what I just read and COVID. Mortal perfection is achievable only through bodily perfections, and therefore the development of physique to high levels of strength and beauty under control of the mind. Our body has to be fit. Different ways to view that fitness for sure. VO2 max, body fat, mind, but the body, in order to be able to walk a couple miles, can't have eaten like 18 bags of Doritos and 3 Cokes. We can still have a Dorito and a Coke. Don't take this too extreme, right? We don't all have to have like 10% body fat. That's not what it means. But it means that in order to develop the mind, our body has to be connected. And it says during social strife, right? To the very preservation of the race. Like, it's pretty intense. I hop down to the second to last paragraph. To appreciate the truth of this statement, the reader must himself have experienced other systems and then must have actually used contrology. So to speak to what Jackie was speaking of, she used to be a gym rat. We have to know the other systems to see that this actually is good for us. And that's a philosophy in life, not that I want to get life coachy, but you know I am a life coach, is that sometimes you figure out what you don't want before you get the answer of what you do want. You figure out who you don't want to date before you figure out, hey, that's the one I want to date, right? You figure out that actually isn't the job for me. I don't know what's next. I just know it's not that. That's what it's talking about in other forms of exercise. For it develops not only the muscles of the body, suppleness of the limbs, and functioning of the vital organs and endocrine glands, it also clarifies the mind and develops the will. The whole goal is the mind and the discipline, the mind and the will. If I put you in the 100, sure, your abs can do it, but it's a mental game. Especially when the teacher makes you hold at the end of the 100. And maybe the teacher lost count, so you've done 130, and then she makes you hold and she counts to 5 3 times. Do you know what I mean? Your mind's got to be in that, right? You've got to have a strong mind. And in order to have clarity of mind, the body and the mind have to be together. It's a symbiotic dance. I know many people who are mentally strong, but physically weak. And many people who are physically strong and mentally weak. and there's zero judgment. Contrology is return to life through contrology. Get back to yourself. This course is about learning classical repertoire, but at the end of the day, I have failed you if you don't meet yourself deeper during course. So that's why I include that. I think it's so cool. All right, let's go to, I want us to come back to this first page. I want us to flip to page 7, please. Who was Joseph Pilates? A reflective journey into the origins of a movement method. Remember, Pilates is not an exercise, it is a movement modality. And actually, I wouldn't mind if you wrote that beside it. Movement method, movement modality. Because I think it's of substance to have that written down. So here's the story. He was born in 1883 to 1967. People know him as a physical trainer. That's why there's that like copper or bronze bust, and it was in the first studio. He was a visionary alchemist of body and spirit. Born in Germany and plagued by asthma, rickets, rheumatic fever, he turned inward, choosing not to be defined by his limitations. Instead, he devoted his life to studying anatomy, gymnastics, Eastern movement practices, and breath work. So Eastern movement practices and breath work are yoga. You will see a lot of overlap. You can make a little note. He pulled from gymnastics, boxing, yoga, wrestling, forms of Greek. It was like Greek wrestling, but it has another term. I've lost it right now. While interned in England during World War I, he transformed adversity into innovation. So what happened is in World War I, and we did it in Canada too, and it's not something that we should be proud of, but you know, during World War II, on the west coast of Canada, they took all the Japanese Canadians and they put them in infirmaries and camps. They had nothing to do with what happened, right? At Pearl Harbor. It had nothing to do with our Canadian people, and we gathered them all up and put them to figure out who's a spy and figure out stuff. Right, well, they did that during World War I with the Germans as well, right? So he was infirmed there. And what was happening is people's bodies, when you're in a camp and you're getting fed this by that and you're not physically active and the mind is starting to deteriorate, the body deteriorates. So he just started creating resistance-based movement using hospital bed springs. You know what that is right now is your spring load on the gearbox. The invention was the seed that would grow into the Pilates apparatus used today. When Joe and his wife Clara opened their New York studio in 1926, they offered a new kind of strength, one that integrated precision, breath, and control. Dancers, like George and Martha, became early adopters, drawn to its elegance and power. He called it contrology, a mindful art of mastering the body. I want to make a little note. They didn't open the studio the way we open studios. He built a few reformers. He built a Cadillac, then he got trademarks for them, then he got other people to build them. It wasn't a studio like we studio. His apartment was on one side of the floor of that New York building, and the reformer and the other apparatus was on the other side. And people would come in, pay $5, and use the equipment, use the apparatus. He would give them 1 or 2 privates, teach them a repertoire. And if you look at anything archival, I think Kelsey might even, is it in any of these pictures? Yes, it is, not a girl kills. You see here, that's the repertoire. You came in and did it your darn self. Here, and there are pictures when they started to get a bit more. It's not a studio with a teacher going, oh, switch, oh, that didn't exist. It was Joe and Clara. And Clara wore a nurse's uniform, a white little dress, and just walked around. She was very quiet, right? So I don't want you to think what we're doing now is what it was. It wasn't, right? And he gave you a couple classes or a couple observations, and then you figured out how to move your body. The reason why dancers came to him was for rehab. But that is also why we have a lot of dance terminology in today's classical even, okay? So there is a difference between contrology, Joe's original method, and classical. Don't think that what you're learning as classical was the original stamp. You are getting the majority of that, but of course it's been changed a little, okay? So, over the decades, Pilates evolved into a global movement system used in rehab, athletic training, and daily wellness practices. So I want us to do this mind-body prompt, okay? It's a connection. So, shut your eyes, and you can either have your hands on your knees or your belly, or if you just want to just sit however comfortably you want. And we're going to do just some deep breaths. We're not doing yogic breath. We're just doing some deep breaths. And then I'm going to ask some questions while your eyes are closed. And then you're going to think about them. And then we're going to write it down. So take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. And then can you sip it a little extra in the nose? And then exhale through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. And then can you sip in a little extra? And then out through the mouth. And one more time, breathe in through the nose. And sip a little extra. And out through the mouth. Now keeping your eyes closed. Where in your life have you turned something bad into something good? Adversity into wisdom. What tools have supported your inner strength and helped you transform your struggles? So just whatever first comes to your head, you can open your eyes and maybe make like a little jot down there. Do you know, I'm a firm believer, well, I'll let you write it down and then I'll tell you what I'm going to say. Be quiet for half a second. And listen, this is your manual. If you don't feel like writing something personal, don't. Just think it in your head. But technically, no one should be reading these but you, right? So in the infirmary, when they were all in this encampment, like people's minds were going cuckoo bang bang and their bodies were falling apart. And so he developed the mat system, and then he got the springs from the hospital bed to give people some resistance so they could, and then they started to become mentally strong. But would he have developed contrology if he hadn't been put in that camp?
No.
I don't know, who's to say?
Yeah.
Like, listen, I've lived through some shit. You guys have lived through some shit. I wouldn't wish my shit on anyone that I loved. But if I can be healthy-minded about it and I look back and I'm like, it kind of made me who I am. And I like who I am and what I have to offer to people. Right? Like he was in a pretty bad scenario, gathered up and shipped off and put in a camp. And yet that's under adversary. You know, and isn't it the thing with the diamond that it's just carbon under pressure? A little cliche, but isn't that a little interesting? Also, for any of you that are married, remember that there will be pressure. The diamond is a symbol of hope, right? When it's pressure, right? So just jotting down some ideas. So what apparatus or tools, support systems, inner strength have helped you transform your own struggles? Because you'll need them on course. So we want to let our body move intuitively, right? We're not going to do this exercise now, but if you go home and you want to journal more, you can just also move into your body, stretch, roll, place a hand over your heart. That is also Pilates, that mind-body connection. I would never say the stretching and rolling is Pilates. I mean the mind-body connection, okay? Mat versus reformer, 2 paths, 1 center. Mat, you're on the floor. It's only you, okay? Gravity becomes your teacher, breath your guide. This is where the method lives in its rawest form. I want you to make a note. It's also the hardest. It's also what all other apparatus are leading us back to. Did you guys see how I worded it a little different this time? I like it. Probably be worded a little different next time, but I like it.
You'll tweak and tweak and tweak.
I know. I like it. It's a little softer. All right. Reformer and apparatus. So, machines that challenge and support. I want you to change machines to apparatus. The springs mimic your muscles. Resistance teaches balance. Originally designed for healing, the equipment refines the way you move and connects your body's puzzle pieces. So listen, when you're on the reformer and you have legs and straps doing leg circles, you get immediate biofeedback. If you are in a mat class, let me clear some space. Ooh, my tailbone. And it's time, peel yourself up. Good, lower the legs down, circle up, around, up and through. Which leg is pulling faster? Watch my legs. Who pulls faster?
Right?
Right.
Yeah, my right pulls faster. I'm right dominant. Guess what? You can't fully see unless you're really staring at me, right? If I have feet in straps, you're going to see that immediately. As a teacher, I know where you all cheat. And every time I say, put your feet in straps, not you because it was your first time, right? Well, I saw where you cheated, but I mean, when I'm saying, put your feet in straps, go for symmetry, symmetry, symmetry. And you guys aren't symmetrical yet. Jamie, it's ridiculous, but you can see it's biofeedback right away.
Oh, right. I was like, oh yeah, girl, your left side is not good.
Right? It's so, like you felt it, you feel it. So,
I can need this.
and that's how it pieces it all together. We're not going to do the journaling invitation right now. I want you to go under, because I want to do that when the others are here. So, a call to action. The unexamined life is not worth living, Socrates. Joseph Pilates didn't just invent a method, he examined life, his pain, his body, his habits, and transformed them. So I do want us to think about what you actually need to heal in your mind and body. If you're like, oh, my left hand is always tight, that's valid. If your mind is like, oh, I'm going back to a job and I don't know if that's when I'm going to do it for the whatever. I literally want you to think in your mind and in your body what needs to be transformed, what needs to be healed, what needs to be worked through, right? You can jot it down or think about it. Or if you have a side journal, you can write it. Because I don't want you to just learn a method. I want you to wake up in your own body. And those of you that have done that, you understand. That's like frickin' boot camp. Your body wakes the heck up.
Oh, it was awake.
It's awake. She awake. Boom. Right?
Oh, yeah.
After those 3 weekends, I came and I did, I don't know if it was yours or Kelsey's.
It was Kelsey.
And I went home and I said to my husband, I was like, I've never felt stronger in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like long stretch, you hold myself up in that plank. I used to just not even be able to hold myself up. Then
I love that.
Oh, yeah. I can do like full 7 minutes of Pilates arms now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all my clients now are like, what are you doing? Why are you smiling? And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not, I don't even notice it anymore
No.
now. And like, I was like, trust me.
We'll get there. Trust me, we'll get
I was
there.
like, I know, it burns.
I know. So I want us to think about how we move, how do we heal? What do you practice every day that brings you closer to yourself? Okay? And also, sure, we want to be fit and we want to be strong. Sure, we might have, our own discrepancies in our bodies and, some people like their thighs, some people don't. Some people obsess over certain things on their body. But the point is not that. The point is Are you being you in and through your movement experience? Right? It's very important. So let's hop down to a method born from purpose. It's more than just a workout. It is a philosophy of resilience, transformation, and mind-body reintegration. Joe developed his method not for vanity or performance, but from a deep personal need to heal. His system was born out of adversity and crafted with the vision of helping others restore balance, strength, and vitality. Put a little star there, that's on your exam. We're not going to read through the rest just now or continue. I just want to give you a taste of where he's coming from. Okay? He left Germany during World War II, or so we're told, before World War II really became the thing. Right? Like, he escaped Germany. He left a real wife and children. Clara's not his real wife. They never could legally marry. They met on the boat going over. He left a wife and I think 2 or 3 children. If you read Cage Lion, it's in that. Because he was in the military and he was German. And I'm getting the impression when I learn history, he didn't want to be a Nazi. That's the impression I get. I can't claim that. So he came over to New York City. He had already been through First World War. Why is he going to be through a second one? Right? I don't know. I'm not him. I'm just making some connecting of the dots. Okay? What I do want to talk about is how do we go from contrology to reformer Pilates? What's the connection there? Right? Is that he started to create apparatus to help heal people. And I've said it a few times in classes that I teach. You know, think of this as a hospital bed. And you've got a soldier with an amputated leg, right? Well, at least you can put a tower behind with a pulley system and they can work their arms. They can start working their abs because they're pulling from behind, right? We use it as a fitness apparatus and it works, but it's also a rehabilitation tool, okay? That's as much as I want to talk about history for today. I think it's wonderful. And there's so much to dive into, and we will do some of the reflective journals tomorrow. Now flip under repertoire and reflections. Okay. I want you to flip past the fundamental order. And the first module you are getting this week, and we might get through more, is you've got footwork repertoire, you've got the 100. In reformer, the only piece of ab series repertoire is the 100. If you've been in any class that teaches more than the 100, you are in contemporary. I've even done it here at the classical studio, but as soon as the 100 is done, the ab series is done.
Okay.
That's it. Just the 100. Why? Because you're already warmed up, circulation's already going, and if you've got a good line to pull, the rest will all be your abs anyway. You will be moving from your center. So, for example, and let's just speak freely for a moment. It's me. In a contemporary studio, you would do about 10 to 12 minutes of warm-up, 10 to 12 minutes of ab series, and then you would deviate. How long does the 100 take you? Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2. It doesn't take you long. It takes you 100 seconds. That's a little over a minute and a half. Isn't that wild? All right, so this is your manual that you're getting, and then we did supine arm series. I did not give you feet and straps. I'll probably give you that tomorrow. So let's flip to toes on the foot bar. Background and history of footwork. Footwork on the reformer is not just a warm-up. It is a foundational ritual. Joseph Pilates emphasized footwork as a way to align the entire kinetic chain from the feet up, activate the powerhouse early, and transition from passive to active awareness. So I want to talk about the kinetic chain from the feet up. We all walk wrong, right? Footwork is supposed to mimic the natural gait of walking rolling through the foot so that we would naturally roll the opposite. So you see we warm up toes, arches, heels. How we're supposed to walk is heel, arch, toe, heel, arch, toe. So someone said to me once upon a time, a couple weeks ago, I think, and then why aren't we warming up the heel first, and then the arch, and then the toe? Well, because your strongest point is the toe, right? Because you're so used to walking wrong, and that's what everyone wants to do on jump board, is push their toes. No one wants to go heel, arch, toe, because we walk wrong. Well, why do we walk wrong? Well, that's a whole other podcast. We could talk about it, but we don't need to. So we work from a place of control to challenge. So we start with what we know, and then we move into activating the deactivation, or the weaker, if I can say it that way. What does this mean, the powerhouse? Let's talk about that word. Circle it and make a little note. What's your powerhouse in Pilates?
Your core.
Your core, yeah, so you can write core, your abs. We have a primary and secondary powerhouse. Primary is from the pubic bone to the navel. Secondary is from the navel in between the chest. Secondary is bigger. Most people think the upper guy is the primary. It's the lower guy. We should be activated from the ground up. Our belly button, technically, should sit in the middle of the powerhouse. Some people have a lower navel, higher navel. Some people have a deformed navel like me, to my kids. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where mine's hanging anymore. But do you know what I mean? But you want to think of from the pubic bone to the navel, from the navel to the chest, you have your primary and secondary. And the movement moves up, up, up. Pull in, right? That's the activation. Guess what that mimics in the spine? Think yoga. The Kundalini energy in yoga. It is mimicking the energy moving up the spine. It's wild. It's wild, the connectivity there. It also transitions the practitioner from passive to active awareness. You were in class this morning. Oh, for 1, 2, 3, 4, pull in, right? Like I was not letting anyone get away with just flowing in and out today. 1, 2, 3, 4, in, 4, 3. Like I was, no. And then I hit doubles. Out, 2, in, 2, out, 2, in, 2. I turned the music off. I was their flow. Get into your minds. Don't think about your laundry. Don't think about your ex. Don't think about your cat. Don't think about the birthday party. Don't. Think about, are those toes digging into the foot bar and are the heels hugging? Because you got to get your clients in footwork to pay attention to you and pay attention to them. I will be the boldest brat sometimes and say, listen to my cues. Are you moving with everyone? Come home. Come home to the stopper. Music's off. Listen to me, please. It's different if you're going for an abs and burn class or you're going for, then the music's pumping. It's a wild ride. But when you're doing classical, that's why we don't use music. And at some studios, I have to use music. And I turn it down. And sometimes I'll turn it up. And then I'll turn it down. And that's okay. That's okay. But classically, there's no music. It's not a workout, right? So, in the classical order, footwork always comes first. Why? Because it awakens the connection between the breath, the spine, and the feet, the 3 pillars of the method. Please put a star that will be on your exam. Now we can understand why the breath and the spine are 2 of the pillars. Why would we say the feet are the 3rd pillar? You can't get it wrong. What are you thinking? Some thoughts?
Because it grounds you, like it's the person that hits the ground.
Sure. Yeah.
If you don't have a strong spine, who cares what your feet kind of thing?
Yeah. What is controlling our walking? Our feet. Right, yeah, but like our feet are what's moving forward. That's the motion, right? And once you get really advanced in repertoire, your feet are like your yogic feet. Like when I start putting you turning around, facing the wall, right toes on the foot bar for modified footwork or variations in footwork, you better be able to feel your toes on that foot bar because you're going blind. Now lift the knee, now hover, now hike into a, do you know what I mean? Like you're starting from the ground up, the kinetic chain moving up, right? So we always begin with footwork. We always begin with footwork. Don't start a class that is real Pilates without footwork. Please. It establishes the spinal imprint or neutrality. It grounds you in breath and rhythm. Inhale to press, exhale, release. I'm not saying that to like sound melodical. It's not the sound of music here. It's not the Shona show. It's how you're supposed to move. Right? There is rhythm and actual tempo to each piece of repertoire. Think elephant. Press out for one. Pull in. When I say press out for one, you can hear the hold. You can feel the back of the hamstrings holding against that wall. Pull in. Right? So, it stimulates circulation, especially in the lower body. It prepares for weight-bearing, balance, proprioceptive demands. It introduces tempo, flow, and coordination. So this is the cool stuff. In the archival stuff, Joseph's mom apparently was a reflexologist. We can't vet that information. And so the footwork also goes toes, arches, heels, because it is warming up the organ system for detoxification and circulatory regulation. So according to reflexology, the toes is the head and neck. Why would we warm up the head and neck first? That's it. Isn't it so connected?
Yeah.
Ball of the foot, lungs and chest. Arch, digestive system, heel, pelvis, and lower back. So in the feet walking sequence, we're going from activation to deactivation. But when you think about it from reflexology, we're moving down the organ system and down the spine. That's why I push on your feet, hey? A lot of you think I'm just picking on your toes. Some of you have great toe wraps, and I'll still push your toes into the foot bar.
Just to
Get the organs going. Yeah.
Now I know.
Especially arches. Especially arches. I like to push on everyone's arch because I think it's so healthy for you. Your digestive system, how many women are bloated or constipated or they're not moving their food properly? Like I will dig, I do it in every class. I push on someone's arch in loving kindness without consent. Right? That's it. Pilates footwork indirectly stimulates the zone supporting nervous system regulation and full body integration. So, purpose and benefits. Warms up your circulation. It activates your core. We're getting into that foot and ankle mobility, postural alignment, and neuromuscular connection. You don't need to know all of these for your exam, but it's good that you have an overall understanding why we start with footwork. So if you're ever in a class that calls itself Pilates and they don't start with footwork, what could be a potential danger for you?
Your body's not warmed up properly.
Fantastic. So your body's not warmed up properly, so what's the danger?
Injuries.
Injury. What else is the danger? Strain. Think about the mind now. You're right on the money for the body. Think about the mind. You're not connected, you're not focused, and guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna ask you to do 18 pulses, and on the 15th, when you can't, because your spine can't hold you up anymore, you're gonna feel like a failure and shit. And you're gonna feel incompetent, and you're gonna look at the girl beside you doing it, and you're gonna be like, I'm not supposed to be here. Who wants that kind of experience? It is why I hate athletic classes. Is there such a thing as a Pilates athlete? No. There's no Pilates Olympics, as far as I'm concerned. There's no competition. Real repertoire does not involve athleticism. It involves control and challenge. The end. Do I teach athletic classes? Yeah. Do I do a pretty good job? Most of the time. Sometimes the brat, I don't teach it. I'll revert to classical. And sometimes, depending who's there, I'll crank the music and give them what they want. Right? Sometimes. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's important to understand the why. Right? I was in a class once that was only legs and glutes, and we didn't do footwork or the 100. And I half-assed most of it because I'm like, I'm going to get hurt. My joints at 45 are not the same at 22. So all the other young ones were doing it, and that's fine. That's kind of cheated. That's cheated. But my joints are fine now, but I'm 15 years away from 60. So let's do the maths. You know what I'm thinking? Oh, why did I come? I want my $40 back, but whatever. So I just want you to think and start to integrate the why. We're not going to go through the setup. I'm going to run you through that when you start teaching, okay? So, the movement patterns, the cues, the modifications, the variations, the mind-body problem, we will do the journaling after. We're going to go through this after, okay? So if you do want to flip to page 3 and leave it, then leave it. So, let's all get up around Kristen's reformer. Kristen, you're going to come lying down. I'm going to teach you toes. We just need your feet in the video. So let's take your foot bar up. You're on 2 red, a blue, and a white. And we see the feet. Good. All right. So go out of the way. Balls of the feet on the foot bar. You are in a Pilates V. As wide as 1 fist distance. Wrap all 10 toes on the foot bar. Hug the heels. So now what have I already done? I touched her. I wrapped her toes. I pushed down. I hugged her heels while wrapping her toes, and I made sure she was a fist distance. Right? Knees will stay in line with the hips. What most clients will do is dump out. Don't let them. From the very first moment, don't let them, don't let them, don't let them. The only time you let them is if they're pregnant. All right, that's the only time. So, I've had some clients who've come to see me that are thicker. They have more weight on their body. I don't let them have more space. Not because I'm against how they look, because they need to keep knees in line with the hips. Otherwise, they are going to get injured. Yeah. Right? So the only time I give anyone more space, I would sometimes bring your knees into tabletop. Sometimes, not often. Lower the foot bar. Still keep your knees in line with your hips, heels together, toes apart. Now she's got more space. I could be kind and do that. If someone was thicker or pregnant, I could lower the foot bar 1, right? So let's get you back up into position. So balls of the feet. The balls of the feet are where the toe meets the sole. Technically, the pinky should be on the apex of the foot bar. So if I find your cute little toe, let's get your toes up, 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 up. There. Now she's going to have to work a lot. Open up. She's going to have to work a lot harder for that wrap. That sucks for people who have extra long toes, right? It really does. It's hard, right? So you want to know the why, because if the pinky toe slides off, they are in misalignment underneath the hip flexors. If they're in misalignment from the get-go, it's screwing up their shoulders, and the whole system is lost. It's one big chain. So now, we've got her toes wrapped. She's a fist, she came in too much. She's a fist distance apart. Heels are hugged. Inhale as you send the carriage all the way out. Exhale to pull home. Did her hips open, her knees open wider than her hips? Inhale to press. Exhale, release. See there, she controlled it. Inhale to press. Exhale, release. Good, keep going. I want you to own the wrap of the toes and the hug of the heels. Dig your shoulders into the shoulder blocks, equally out as in, and start to flow a little faster. Excellent wrap of the toes, needs 0 correction. She's not sliding at all. Go for 4, and in. And 3, and draw the carriage all the way home. Very nicely done. Teach Dana. You be me, Dana bees you.
Bees you.
Bees you. I'm right here. I don't need to film you teaching, but nice on me.